Welcome to this week's edition of the Football Fan Show podcast. Football, fast changing and ever changing, and this is my excuse for recording this before Ollie at the wheel was sacked by Manchester United. So there are plenty of references to who is going to replace him because we thought he might go, but it was before the news that he was sacked. Callum Brown is my guest today. What are we talking about? We're talking about the new Villa boss. We're talking about the new Norwich boss. Talking about a new shareholder at West Ham as well. And points deductions for both Reading and Derby County in the Championship. Callum Brown is my guest. And let's kick off by talking about how dire international footballers. Hello. Welcome back to the Football Fan Show for the first time in 2 weeks. I'd like to say there was a lot of interesting matches played over the last fortnight, but I'd be lying. International breaks aside, I mean, who likes them? Who are they for? They're shit. They're just horrible.
I don't know. I mean, those England fans from London that go to every match.
Yeah,
they're the only fans that do that.
I you know what? I've been to Wembley. I'd never seen an England match. I don't think, unless it was a major tournament final, I don't think I'd ever go watch England play at Wembley. I'm not interested. Is that weird? Is that weird for me to say? I'm just not interested.
International football as a whole is just worse.
It's just rubbish.
It's I don't know what it is. Like it's just because. I always think like when the players come together from their clubs and they go to these, obviously the country team club, and because they're not used to playing together, they're just awful. They just turn into rubbish players.
Yeah, unless you're Harry Maguire, in which case you become world class when you play for England in an absolutely like League Two, free transfer to Barnet levels of quality in the Premier League.
I mean, that's what I mean. I think really all the good players at club level don't really turn up international wise, but then the bad players that actually are lucky enough to get a call up international, turn out. I don't know, some reason play well. But then when you get to Harry Maguire's level of shit, he's that fortunate that he scores a header against San Marino and then cups his ears like he's, Mr. Badass.
Charlie Big Bollocks, yeah.
Yeah, like he's Mr. Big Bollocks, yeah. Like and it's like shut up, you idiot. Like you scored a header against San Marino. Well done. I think literally every international player on the planet has scored against San Marino. And then he comes and captains Man United today against Watford, and is awful all match, and then gets sent off. So it makes you laugh just thinking about it. It's like just shut up and sit down, you decrepit little insect, yeah.
Steve Gerrard, it's Aston Villa manager. What do you make of him as Villa boss? It's obviously, I mean, I know he said, he wants to do things with Villa. It's a great stepping stone, isn't it, for the Liverpool job?
Yeah, it is. like he actually said, like, it's disrespectful to say it's a stepping stone, but
Rangers was, and now Villa is.
Yeah. I think it's just a very good appointment for both club and manager. Because I think who else was, he was sort of
he was their number one choice apparently.
Yeah, up and coming English manager, very young still. Done really well with Rangers. There's really no sort of downside to getting them in. And then for Gerrard, it is a putting your placeholder in the Premier League. This is where he can prove himself now. Because obviously he was still when he first came to management, before he went to Rangers, he was like raw. He went to Rangers, learned and applied his trade, done really well with them, was kind of learned on the job, and now he's took the next step. And this is where he can put that experience to good use. And I think he'll do well with them.
And then the other one, so his last game as Aston Villa manager, he lost to Southampton. First game in charge of Norwich, beats them.
Beats them. Yeah. Yep. Football's a
isn't
funny.
football a cruel mistress?
I was going to say a funny old game, but a cruel mistress sounds better. Yeah. It's a funny old thing.
Um,
Yeah. Isn't it Norwich's first win?
no, that was Farke's last game was their first win.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I
2-1
forgot.
against
Yeah.
Brentford. Yes,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
there
You know, I
you go.
completely. I was going to say Norwich have reached the lofty heights of 19th place.
I know.
You know, it's
Well, hey, they're not
like
bottom
they'll
of the
be
league.
players. All the players and the fans will be on the Raz tonight. We have like achieved 19th place. Jesus H Christ! It's hallelujah, bloody
19th
miracle.
place trophy, like Arsenal's 4th place trophy.
Exactly, literally. Like they are not the worst team in the country at the minute. They're
No,
the second
that's
worst.
yeah, they are. Yeah,
What, they're
Newcastle
on eight
United.
points, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on 8 points now. Newcastle United still on 6, and
I
Burnley
mean,
just a point
Jesus.
above them. I mean, the thing is now you would have had, and weirdly, I was chatting to a Norwich fan yesterday at work, and she was talking about, Dean Smith could keep us up, and I was just like, no, you're deluded if you think that squad is staying in the league. But you know what? It's hard to say after one game, but they
Yeah,
do look a bit better
potentially.
under. They do look miles better under Dean Smith than they did
Yeah.
under
It's
Farke.
because Dean Smith is a good Premier League manager. Daniel Farke is not a good Premier League manager. As much
He's
as I love him
Championship
as a
manager.
person and his voice, he's Championship level at best. So he was having them playing like a Championship team. So they're getting made to look bang average. The team is still bang average,
Oh yeah,
but
they should still
but
get
when
relegated.
but when you have actually someone with a Premier League
With
experience in there,
somebody good.
just talking to them and training
Mm.
them, it for some reason just brings them up a little bit, have them playing a bit better than what they are,
In
So
a
I mean,
scenario,
obviously,
go on.
what were you gonna say?
I was going to say in a weird wacky scenario, Stephen Gerrard does not work out for Villa. They go down and Norwich stay up. That just makes Villa look like absolute clowns for getting rid of Smith, because they were talking about him getting cut too early from the job.
Well,
Because
they're on what was it? Five straight defeats, was it?
yeah, but if you look at the teams that they've been playing, I think the point was you look at the teams that they were playing against. They were tough games, and they have new players, and obviously they don't have big old Jack who's gone to Man City. So,
But really, you're gonna give them a bit of a free pass because they've lost Jack Grealish.
yeah,
Like,
he's their best player
no,
by a million miles. He was their best player. They lost to Southampton. They lost to Southampton. Okay, they should be winning that game. They
yeah,
lost to West Ham, who are a potential top 4 side, as ridiculous as that sounds.
yeah.
They lost to Arsenal, who finally decided to pull their socks up and get on a run. Wolves are on a good run. They lost to Tottenham, but they did beat Manchester United. So
I mean,
you know, and then
the
they
thing
beat
is,
Everton 3-0. So
I mean, look, I don't have sort of any opinion on Dean Smith and Aston Villa. Obviously, I'll keep an eye on and I'll see what Gerrard's up to. I can't say one way or another where if Dean Smith was let go too early, but I think it would have to be something stupid or something crazy would have to happen for it to be that bad that Villa go down, Norwich stay up. I
yeah,
mean,
I
let's
think
just because it's two separate it's two separate odds there because you're thinking, well, what are the odds that just Norwich stay up, and then what are the odds that Villa go down, and then combine them both. You talk stupid. You're talking a stupidly low possibility that both of those things happen. If it did happen, then you're right. Then Aston Villa go, oh, what's happened here? But I think I don't think. Maybe a little bit of my bias comes this, but I don't think Jao would ever let it get that bad.
no.
I think he's gonna breathe a bit of fresh air into it. He is a Premier League legend as well. That new manager bounce anyway, and the fact that surely those Villa players, look at him and go, "Geez, we're learning from Stephen Gerrard here."
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think those Villa players would be foolish not to not to let Gerrard improve.
You take exactly. You take into you would listen to every word that he's saying to you because you go, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. You know, in terms of sustainability, in terms of being the best. He was the best for years. He was the best player on our team. So he knows what he's talking about. He can do. He could do everything in his day. So when he's telling you how to do things, like Ollie Watkins, come here. This is how you hit a football. Oh, midfield players. This is how you pass a ball. This is how you dribble with the ball. This is how you make a tackle. This is how you jump in your head. He's wealth of experience. I don't think he'd ever get that bad. That's my prediction. I just don't think he'd ever get that bad where Villa are going to go down with them this season.
Reading. Did you hear about this? They've been handed a points deduction by the EFL. And there could be a further one in the pipeline as well because they've been docked 6 points for a breach of financial rules in the Championship. So it leaves them 19th before today's game at against Nottingham Forest. We'll have a look a little bit later, but there could be a potential further points deduction. Now, I believe they've had a transfer embargo for the last couple of years, Reading, as well. So puts them in a little bit of trouble. Speaking of points deductions, Derby County.
Had another one. Yeah.
They've had another one. They're also completely fucked. Yes, so Derby, so they wanted their points deduction removed, and then the EFL went, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
In fact, we're not only going to not remove that initial point deduction, we're going to give you everybody another one.
Yeah. So
just for back talking us.
They were given I don't know whether it went through though, because there was talk of them getting another points deduction, and they already had been docked 12 points already this season, and they were on 6 points, and now they're on -3. So they were on +6, now they're on -3. So they've been docked a further, what is that?
9 points.
9 points. They've been docked a further 9 points.
Because didn't he already start on a minus figure and then obviously managed to get up themselves
yeah,
up to +6?
They got to +6 and then they've been docked 9 points again. It's like the EFL are like, Derby,
screw you guys, we're getting you down no matter what.
We want you in League One next season.
It's like, you know what you may as well do? Just straight away now, just put them in League One now. So screw you guys. I mean, if I was Derby, I'd be saying, fuck the EFL, fucking thinking they can bully us into a corner. Like, what the fuck? You've already punished them once. They're already fucking down on their knees. They're trying to stand up again, and you fucking kicked them again. Like, what the fuck are the EFL even doing? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's like okay, we've already punished you once. Oh, you want to challenge that? Disrespect. Bitch slap him again a couple of times. Down you go. Give him a bit of kick in the ribs while they're trying to get back up again. Not only are we going to screw you over again by saying no to your request, we're also going to dock points again just for having the nerve to stand up to us. Like, I'm sorry, is this a fucking dictatorship? Is it?
Yeah, so in total they have been docked. So they were initially docked 12. Now they've been docked a further 9. So they've been docked in total 21 points this season. They've now been
for? What for? Like
for going into administration really, and I don't know why the further points. What was the further points deduction? The champion. I'm just reading this article now. So it's. Breaches of profitability and sustainability rules. That's why they were docked a further 9 points. So they were docked the 12 points for going into administration, and then they breached the profitability and sustainability rules of the EFL. So they have been now docked a further 9 points. When will the EFL? My question to the EFL is: when will you learn that points deductions do not help the clubs? They actually put them in greater peril of going out of business.
Exactly. Like aren't you meant to be there to help support these clubs?
They couldn't give a shit about the clubs.
Like, are they literally going? Oh well, we see you're in a bit of a bad position, and then let me double down and just boot you even further down. And it's like, sorry, it's like I don't know how they can actually get it, like legally get away with it. Like, because I mean, surely the EFL clubs who see this and they go, you know what, this could easily happen to us if we were put in that position. Surely if you couldn't all come together and do something against the EFL for this, so this can't happen again. Because Derby are being used as a scapegoat here by the EFL to go, you know what, this keeps all the other clubs down underneath the EFL's shoe. And it's like, this is what happens if you try and rise up against us.
According to another article, they are apparently Derby County. They owe. You want to know how much they owe to the tax man? So this is how much they owe to Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, HMRC. If you've ever dealt with a tax man, he's a fucking bastard. £29.3 million. That is how much Derby County and the club's connected companies combined owe to the tax man.
See, when you say it, it sounds like a lot, but then when you think about it, it's not.
That's the cost of a decent Premier League player.
Well, no,
30 million.
An average Premier League player.
Okay, average player. Yeah,
Well, that just puts in perspective, doesn't it? You know, a Premier League club can just go and pay it out nice and easy.
I mean, I heard the Newcastle owners are interested in buying Derby to make it Newcastle's B team. They've got enough money.
Hang on. Literally, like, Newcastle's owners could take a shit and wipe their ass with that kind of money, and it wouldn't even matter.
They could just, you know what I would love them to do, and it would, even though I hate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, I really don't like it. It's a human rights abuse nightmare. But
yeah.
Anyway, sports washing aside and everything like that, you know what I would find hilarious? You know that scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker has a pyramid of money and just sets it on fire just for the lulz? I would just love them to bring in £30 million to Derby County and say, this is how much you owe in tax. Now, we could give it you. Or we could just burn it in front of your eyes. We're going to burn it in front of your eyes.
If they did that.
Just dab it in oil just to piss off all the green protesters as well.
Oh,
Jesus.
I mean, really,
just make themselves really heal.
It's like, you know what? It's like, they're probably sitting there going, you know what, guys? We want to piss you off, but we want to do it in the worst way possible. And we want to make you the most pissed off you can get. So, Derby, here's this 30 million. We're not really going to give it to you. That pisses them off. Douse it in oil. Oh, green protesters. Oh, screw you guys. And then set it on fire. Just piss off everyone. Yeah.
Well, that's just what they owe to the tax man. They also owe £8.37 million in outstanding player registration fees, £500,000 in agents' fees, and also they owe they owe a long-time advisor to Wayne Rooney £60,000, and here's the kicker: they owe £8,000 to St John's Ambulance.
For what?
For medical services, to have the medical facilities at the ground. Just to have ambulances at the ground. £8,000 they owe the St John's Ambulance.
Jesus Christ! Like, it just puts
the bloody St John's Ambulance £8,000.
It just puts into perspective how so blatantly, increasingly obvious it's becoming. The fact that rich people and poor people live in just different worlds, completely alien to each other. Rich people just don't see, understand what it's like to be poor at all. Like I saw a thing the other day. I don't know why we've got onto this topic, but basically, it was like a radio thing, and he was talking about the MP for Romford. And he, back when the government decided to cut the £20 a week universal credit thing, and he was saying, oh, well, these people on £20 a week, who, let's point out, are the poorest people in the country, they enjoy having £20, but they don't really need it, right? And then recently, with the whole debacle about MPs and their
Having
second jobs.
Can't live on 80
And
grand. Oh no,
yeah,
not a year.
can't live on £8 a year. We need to get these 100 grand, consultancy fees and these private firms giving us money because we know the person in charge. We've got invested interest in them. We really struggle. And the MP for Romford came out and said, well, we've got to be careful because we've got to make sure to look after them. These people are human beings with families and responsibilities. And he actually said that. And I'm sitting there going, so the poorest people in the country, the people who live in poverty, can't feed themselves and their children. They don't need that extra £20 a week. They're not human beings. But the people on 80 grand a year who claim expenses for the dumbest shit in the world, who rule the lives of those poor people, they're human beings. They're classified as human beings because they've got money. But the poor people aren't even classified as they're not. They're below human. That's what that it infuriates me. How they can view the people that they pick the rules for not even human. Completely different worlds. Like I would dare, not even dare. I would demand that all the Tory MPs in this country go through a couple of weeks, a month, a year of being on universal credit or access to any of their money, and see how they get on with it. And I tell you what, they will struggle in the first 2 weeks, and they would say, "I give up." Surely that would make a change of things, because at this moment, they're just shitting on people they don't even view as human, and it infuriates me. Because I work on just to bring it in, I know I've talked. I work on universal credit, and I speak to these people every day. People committing suicide because they can't afford to feed their own kids. What the fuck? And you have these shit cunts in government who are shitting on them and laughing about it. Winds me up to no heavens. It's wrong.
Times 8:47. You're listening to LBC.
Sorry.
LBC live on Twitch. LBC.
I had to get off my chest because when you brought up about Newcastle's owners and burning money and then stuff like that, it just made me annoyed. So sorry,
it triggered something. There you go. Well, there you go. You got a little bit of LBC for you. Yeah. LBC. Back to the Football Fan Show. Getting away from the global-owned radio station LBC. We must now talk about. Well, we lost a Rangers icon whilst we were off air. We lost Walter Smith. Legendary Rangers manager, and was Everton manager for a brief period in the late 90s, early 2000s as well. But in his 2 spells at Rangers, I believe he won about 12 trophies or something like that. So it's quite ridiculous how successful he, in fact, was with that club. He was a legend. And you know what was really nice to see? Even the Celtic fans went to Ibrox to pay respect and lay flowers and things like that. That was that fantastic. And that does say something. Yeah, you're right. Because those two do not get on. Probably the most fierce rivalry left in football. And in other news this week, you may have missed this one. Do you remember somebody called Steve Keane?
No.
Ex-Blackburn Rovers manager. Venky's came in, sacked Allardyce and appointed Steve Keane as their manager. Then he got him relegated. He's just been appointed the director. Here's the thing, okay? Blackburn Rovers manager in the Premier League. What job do you think he's got?
What?
He's just got a new job in football. He is now a Premier League manager at one point, is now the academy director of Hibernian. Jesus. He's not good enough to manage men. He has to manage kids.
Jesus Christ.
How the mighty has fallen. The mighty Steve Keane. But you know what? Him and... Who was the guy that was at Newcastle and he said, "Oh yeah, I think I'm the best manager in the world or the best coach in the world." Who was that?
Oh,
that was hilarious. He was also clueless. He was deluded.
Oh, I know
I can
you
see
mean
his face. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's
God, I can't remember who it was. I can see
it
his
was
face.
it
I
was
can see him saying it.
it was between. He came in between. Uh, Acquisition phase.
Oh, that's going to annoy me now.
Yeah, it's going to annoy me as well. What
John
about him?
Carver. John Carver,
John Carver. John Carver.
the
That's it.
greatest coach in the world.
Yeah, he actually
Also the
said that,
most
really.
deluded. Also the most deluded. He can't be as good as Ollie at the wheel, though. He brings joy to millions every weekend. He's not as good as Ollie at the wheel. Okay. Now, before we get on to a story that I'm very excited for, we must now deal with something that we haven't dealt with in a very long time. I'm sorry about this, Callum. It's time to talk about the return of the European Super League.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Because fake news, Mr. Fake News himself of football, the fake news of football, Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, I find
He's
him
like,
indistinguishable from Donald Trump.
This whole thing with Florentino Perez, he's like a bad cold doesn't go away. He's like, fuck off.
He has defended the idea this week of the European Super
course.
League, claiming it is the only way to enforce tighter financial controls on teams, as UEFA's financial fair play model plays into the hands of clubs backed by sovereign states.
Well, he's not wrong, but
I mean, he's not, but still, that does
still,
kind of smack of the...
Still, he needs to shut up though, doesn't he? Because what he's done now, he's getting the new lease on life now because he's like, well, it's me against the world. He's got this victim mentality of, well, if no one else is going to stand with me, I'll stand by myself. I'll back myself.
I'm going to die on this hill.
He needs to shut up and
It's
retire.
my hill, and I choose to die on it.
Yeah, I'll stick my flag in this hill, and I will not, I will not. What's the song? I will not drown this ship or something. Is that Dido? Is it?
The Dido. I won't go down with this ship.
I won't. Yeah,
what is it? And I blah 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 and surrender. There will be no white flag above my door.
I will
blah,
hold
blah,
my
blah.
hands up and surrender. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing the opposite of that. He's
going
fighting to the end.
He doesn't care. He just you know what? There's a little bit. I've got to give him some begrudging respect. He doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
But that doesn't earn my respect. Not giving a fuck. If he doesn't give a fuck, he needs to shut up then.
Yeah.
He's gonna stink over nothing if he doesn't care.
That is very. Yeah. Well, I mean, the moment he goes away, the happier I will be. What did you see the story that the Newcastle owners were apparently unhappy with the club that they've bought and now want to buy into Milan?
What?
Did you not see this? So there was a story that the Newcastle owners initially wanted to buy Inter Milan. This is the Saudis. They wanted to buy Inter Milan from it's
the Chinese company.
It's Chinese owners who I forget the name of, but they've had a terrible financial year. It's not Evergrande. But they bought them, and they wanted to buy Inter. The owner said no, absolutely not. So they bought Newcastle. Apparently, it was reported as. By the way, this is all crap. I don't believe this for a second. But according to a report, they were very unhappy with their purchase and wanted to buy Inter Milan instead. And we're still chatting about buying Inter Milan.
Well, the thing is, Inter Milan would have been a lot more expensive than Newcastle. I think. You'd obviously want to buy Inter Milan, just a lot bigger club than Newcastle. Well, fact of the matter is, they're not going to go back. You can't go back on it now.
Yeah, well, apparently they also want to add Newcastle. I don't know what.
What's that? I was going to say.
Some stupid advert, I suppose, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Some stupid advert on this website. I'll try and switch it off. Hang on. There we go. It's switched off. Fabulous. That is switched off now. That won't annoy me anymore. So, Newcastle. But apparently the Public Investment Fund would still be interested in buying Inter to add it to a portfolio of clubs.
Of course, they're just getting their portfolio open, just this club and this club and this club, just adding it to their catalogue, you know.
Although Inter Milan have gone to a lot of lengths to say, yeah, this isn't happening.
Yeah, they're kind of sticking to their guns on it.
I mean, Inter fans would probably love it because they'd have probably got Conte back and Lukaku. They'd be like, yeah, let's sign these players back again. Yeah, absolutely, fantastic. But yeah, that came out of left field this week, and really, all that's left is to talk about the big appointment of the week. One that I'm really excited for, actually, and I sound sarcastic, but I'm being completely genuine, because with Stephen Gerrard going to Aston Villa, it left a vacancy at Rangers. They've brought in legend Giovanni van Bronckhorst into coaching.
Jesus.
And the thing is, how the fuck have they got him? He's fantastic. Look what he did at Feyenoord. Small budget. What is it? 4 trophies in 5 years, or 5 trophies in 4 years. It was 5 and 4, I think. But he was fantastic for them. Fantastic. Like he could you could make an argument that he should be coaching in the Premier League. You could make that argument.
We'll see what happens if he continues his success with Rangers. Then yeah, depending on who the next vacancy is in the Premier League in a couple of years, could see it happen. I mean, what I don't know, what would be your sort of idea of like what club you do well in the Premier League?
Southampton, a Leicester City. That would be
yeah.
He would do pretty well there. He did spend some time in China. Let's be fair. He went to Feyenoord. It was 5 trophies in 4 years with Feyenoord. Then he went to Guangzhou in the Chinese Super League, where he managed for a couple of months, and then he hasn't managed since. And now he's at Rangers.
Bit of a black stain on your record, isn't it, when you go to China?
Yeah. But he won. I think he won their first. I think he won Feyenoord's first title. He won in 2016, 2017, but I think that was their first title in like a decade or something like that. And remember, they had Dirk Kuyt in their team, and he apparently fell out with him, shoved him on the bench, and it worked out to Giovanni van Bronckhorst's favour, because Dirk Kuyt got so annoyed and so angry at his manager that when he eventually did bring him off the bench, he banged in the goals. He just motivated him by pissing him off.
I mean, you do that. To be honest, you do that.
You do that at your own peril.
Well, yeah, you got to be careful though, because it could backfire. The player could just go, you know what, fuck this, I'm not even going to be asked. Or you get some players that are a bit more driven, like Dirk Kuyt, go, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna when I do my shit on the pitch, I'm just gonna do this to basically give a big fuck you to the manager anyway.
I think that was Dirk Kuyt's last season as a player as well. So
yeah, I mean, Dirk Kuyt was kind of a bit of a sort of a underappreciated player for us. He was very good for us, Dirk Kuyt.
But Van Bronckhorst got the best out of an aged Dirk Kuyt, who was in his mid-30s at the time.
He's like 35, wasn't he? So he's...
Yeah. But he started banging in the goals.
Yeah, fair play.
So, yeah, he was good. He's good. He did well at Feyenoord. So, expect big things, potentially, for him on at Rangers. So, let's wait and see what happens. Hopefully, more trophies. And I don't think Celtic are in... I made the argument, I think Rangers definitely benefited last season from Celtic shooting themselves in the foot, but I think this season, I think if they can win back-to-back league titles, I think this could be an era of Rangers. The era of
Dominance.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, potentially, it could be an era of dominance for the good old for the boys. If you're that way inclined, I'm not, but there you go. News coming from Manchester United: no sackings. Sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah. Seen
Yeah.
that. They are apparently. I just seen that they are undecided. I mean, that just says everything, doesn't it, about the incompetency of United's board if they are undecided. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how it can be like he's doing worse now than what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did when he got sacked because it wasn't good enough. And then, yeah, apparently being a United legend when your CV is, Norway and getting relegated with Cardiff, apparently it's good enough to keep you there. Like he must be like what's the word I'm looking for? The best at sort of shit talking to convince someone to yours, to convince the board. Like the board must be full of idiots, and he's talking to them like children, going, keep me. I'm the best at the job. Can't get anyone else at the minute." And it's like, and he's honestly convinced them. Like, you know what? I'm happy. I want them to keep him anyway, because they'll never be good enough. So keep him as long as you bloody can. As we keep saying, give him that new contract. Reward him for his loyal service
to Liverpool,
to the Premier League,
to the Premier League, to comedy,
to the sport of football and comedy in general.
The next couple
Gollum
of games, they have obviously we'll chat about the Champions League, which is coming up midweek. They're away at Chelsea next in the Premier League. Then they've got a home game against Arsenal on Thursday for some reason, the 2nd of December. Probably an Amazon Prime match, that's probably why, because they start kicking in with the Premier League coverage in December. Then they've got Crystal Palace on the 5th. Then they've got their final Champions League group stage match against Young Boys. Then they've got Norwich City. Then they've got Brentford on my birthday. And I would suggest that if they don't beat Norwich and Brentford, and to be honest, Palace as well, that's got to be the... Well, you know what? The thing about Ole is you can pinpoint where he's going to be sacked and you'll be completely wrong 100% of the time. It is completely...
Just a quick point here, just to point out, sorry to interrupt you. Seen that Sergio Aguero's had to retire, hasn't he? Because of his heart condition.
I have not seen this. I will have a look.
Yeah, just come out today.
I mean, it is Xavi's first game in charge today, by the way. Of Barcelona. It is his first. Oh yeah, it's set to announce retirement. Hang on, breaking news from 5 hours ago. Sergio Aguero will be retiring from football following heart problems. Oh, that's a shame. He's had a great career though. Fantastic career.
Yeah.
Plenty of trophies.
Yeah.
He never won the Champions League though, which was a shame. But
yeah. I kind of felt like I always hated playing against him, but I kind of felt sorry for him after he moved to Barca because the whole reason he moved at all. I mean, he was kind of getting benched a lot anyway because of his injury problems, and he just wasn't getting a chance to play properly. So I think City just you know what, we're not getting really anything out of him anymore. And they obviously let him go free. But he went to Barcelona because he wants to be with his mate, his Bezzy mate. Because isn't I'm sure he's like Leo Messi's kid's godfather, or the opposite way around. Or I think Messi might be Aguero's kid's godfather. Like they're like best mates. The whole reason he went was to play fast and play with Messi and sort of end his career on a high. And he wasn't. I mean, I think he's only just about being able to get himself registered. His best mate's pissed off. And then now he's collapsed on a football pitch with a heart problem. He's had to retire at 33? I think 32, 33.
Yeah, 33.
Yeah,
33.
I mean, the fact that he's got heart problems at 33, like, it's just shit anyway. The fact that it's a football player and careers are short anyway, it's just just a bit of a sad ending, isn't it, for a Premier League legend? You know.
Yep. But that's what happens, I'm afraid. Sometimes, you just gotta.
Pretty much, as soon as if you're a football player or an athlete of any kind, as soon as anything happens with your heart, you're just done right away. I mean, I said I don't think it was as bad as Christian Eriksen's like full-on cardiac arrest, but it was irregularities with his heart,
Yeah.
wasn't it? It was like heart palpitations and that. Um, he's probably gonna have to have like a pacemaker or something put in,
Yeah.
just to make sure, just to keep on top of it.
But a fabulous, fabulous player. I'll never forget the obviously the infamous or famous, if you're a Man City fan, goal against QPR. That's the moment, isn't it? The QPR goal. Aguero. Was that? Yeah, that was Aguero. Yeah,
Balotelli,
Aguero. Yeah.
Anyway, Balotelli,
Yeah, that was against QPR.
yeah.
Yeah, because Joey Barton got sent off in that game because he always gets sent off.
I don't think there's a match he didn't get sent off, was there?
No, he's just constantly getting sent off. He's still in charge of Bristol Rovers somehow. Don't know how. So, with that said, we've had the Wigan Oxford game called off. Kevin De Bruyne won't be playing this weekend. He's tested positive for COVID. It's still just a bastard. And Eddie Howe's missed out on Newcastle. With everything that's happened now in terms of the managerial changes, it's really freaking tough to predict who's going down now.
Yeah. I mean, we could honestly have a case of the richest owners in the world in the Championship. So that'd be funny if it did. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough because depending on what happens with Watford, with Burnley. I mean, you could. I don't know who's 16th, 17th. But they could get dragged into it. Like, who knows?
Well, you've got
Norwich could sneak on.
Sorry, I was going to say, well, you've got Newcastle at the bottom, then you've got Norwich, then you've got Burnley, then you've got Leeds, Watford, Aston Villa, Brentford, Southampton, Leicester.
Leeds could, depending on what Leeds' result is tomorrow, who knows? You could have Leeds going back down.
Yeah, which would be, I wouldn't be surprised by that because the Bielsa bounce normally doesn't last this long.
Yeah.
And those players get worked to the bone, and you'd like to think that they'd get better and improve, but it's not working out for him this season, which is a little bit worrying. To be honest, Bielsa's the kind of guy he'll leave, he'll jump before he's pushed. He's always been like that. So if there are any rumours, which there haven't been, of Leeds getting rid of him, as soon as he hears them, he'll go. He'll just pack his bags and go. First goal for Xavi as manager of Barca.
I was going to say, has he scored himself, has he?
No. Yeah, he's just gone, you guys are so crap, I'm going to play.
I'll play myself and I'll be better than most of us.
Depay with the goal, yes. Barcelona.
Who scored? Depay.
Yes.
Memphis with the goal.
Memphis. In the Barcelona derby, it's Barcelona 1, Espanyol 0. There you go.
I mean, Memphis should never have left Lyon as well.
Yeah, but it's Barcelona.
So you could say that back then. You can't say that now, can you?
Still, it's Barcelona.
I don't fucking give it. I don't give a flying fuck. He was doing well for Lyon in the Champions League. Sometimes it doesn't fucking matter that it's Barcelona. Look at them now. You can't say, oh yeah, they're still great, Barcelona. Fucking laughing stock, lad. Shut up. You're taking the piss. Barcelona are not held in the same breath as they were in previous years. They're just not. Sorry to say, they're just not.
Well, we've got the Champions League midweek. Let's have a look at some of those fixtures. Are you excited for the return of the Champions League?
I would if we still had to win to get points. To
oh yeah, you guys are already through. You guys don't.
Yeah, we're through top, so we can.
Well then,
fortunately we can.
Can I convince you and convert you to the church?
Of what?
Of just lending your support for 1 week and 1 week only to I shot the sheriff. Terrible. So yeah, did something different there.
Mate,
Shot the
I converted.
sheriff.
I converted when we first started speaking to them at the start of the season. I've been keeping my eye on and supporting Sheriffs all the way.
Absolutely. Tuesday's Champions League action looks like this: Dynamo Kiev versus Bayern Munich. Barcelona versus Benfica. That'll be Xavi's first European game in charge. I think Barca are third in that group, aren't they? They look unlikely to get out of it. Europa League, you're having a laugh. Villarreal versus Manchester United. Can't wait for good evening to win once again. Young Boys versus Atalanta.
Who's going to manage United if they can't get anyone in time? It's going to be something to see.
Steve Bruce.
Come on, Steve. You're a legend of the club.
You
know we like hiring legends.
Yes. And if that fails, Neil Warnock. And if that fails, Mick McCarthy.
Big Sam.
Big Sam, yes. Yes. Where's the best Gregs in town? What else is there? There's Group G action: Lille versus FC Red Bull Salzburg, Sevilla versus Wolfsburg, and Chelsea face Juventus. Probably in the game of the day, really. Malmo and Zenit, St. Petersburg. Chelsea are already through in that group, aren't they? Chelsea? No, I think it's just Liverpool and City. They're the only English. Oh no, City aren't through yet. Liverpool. I think Liverpool are the only English team. Yeah.
Yes, City is second. It's second in the party.
Yeah. Wednesday's action looks like this: Club Brugge versus Leipzig. That'd be interesting. Man City versus PSG, or as it's colloquially known, the UAE versus Qatar. We've got Atletico Madrid versus AC Milan, Liverpool versus Porto. That's Group B. Group C, Besiktas versus Ajax. We've got Sporting Club versus Borussia Dortmund. And Group D, Inter Milan versus Shakhtar. And can they do it again? Can they do it on a cold, rainy night in Tiraspol? Can they beat Real Madrid again? It's shot the sheriff. Tiraspol versus Real Madrid.
I mean, it's if they can do it in
if they did it
in
again,
a full stadium in the Bernabeu, then home advantage and all that, mate. Like Real won't know what to do. They'll be overwhelmed with the atmosphere.
Just get it done, Sheriff. Get it done. They've only lost 2 games in the Champions League this season, both to Inter Milan. But beyond that, they've beaten Real Madrid and they've beaten Shakhtar. So it's all to play for them. And if they get past the and if they finish third, they get into the Europa League. But I want them to finish second. Or do I? Because that means I have to wear all that Sheriff shit for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of want them to go through just for the bants, but also I don't want to wear all that shit.
But I want you to wear it for the bands, so
you want me to wear all that shit. So of course you want them to go through.
Yeah.
They're only a point behind Inter Milan, so could happen. Could happen. They just need to win against Real and Shakhtar, and hope that Inter should beat Shakhtar. But let's see what happens. But at least Sheriff will get into the Europa League. Money, 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 money. Anyway, speaking of money, and remember, you'll cast your mind back to a couple of weeks ago. I was locked in a shed somewhere, and we were chatting about which club is next. West Ham now off the table in that race for which club is next, because this is our final story for tonight. Czech businessman Daniel Kretinsky, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, has completed a purchase of 27% of West Ham in the 2 weeks that we've been off air. He owns, and if you like I Shot the Sheriff Tiraspol, he owns Czech club This is Sparta Prague. And his colleague I like that. This is Sparta Prague.
Prague.
Pavel, his colleague
Sorry,
Pavel Horsky.
I am so. Oh,
Go
I'm
on.
so easily pleased. Sorry, I'm like a kid.
I just do this shit
laugh
to
at
make you
silly
laugh
things.
or to make me laugh.
Yeah,
I just try and pop
just
myself.
funny.
That's it. Have been appointed to the board at the London Stadium alongside joint chairman David Sullivan, David Gold, and vice chair Karen Brady. And so he's bought 27%. So they've got a little bit of. I mean, Sullivan and Gold are still the majority shareholders. They own just under 50% of the club, but have the majority of the voting rights. So they really run the club day to day, and this Kretinsky fellow has nothing really day to day to do with it. But he is a money man. He's a money man, and should he want to, he could potentially buy the rest of. I don't think he wants to. I think he wants other investors involved to try and keep the money flowing into West Ham.
Yeah.
I think that's his goal. So I think he does want to work with Sullivan and Gold. I don't think he wants to necessarily buy them outright. But with West Ham now having a billionaire involved, it kind of takes them off the table to be taken over by other billionaires.
Yeah.
So who's left? Leeds United, the Sheffield clubs, and the Bristol clubs as the big city teams. Maybe actually no, Sunderland are owned by a billionaire. Can't use them. Bradford City. Huddersfield Town. We're going bottom of the barrel now, aren't we? Brentford, Millwall.
I was going to say we're digging deep here.
Yeah, Barnet.
What else?
Wealdstone. Bloody Wealdstone.
I mean, I was going to actually say the reason why he probably doesn't want to outright buy them is because he wants to make sure that he's not the one funding all the money. He wants the other people who own the shares to be funneling the money as well as just him. So once again he's looking out for himself and his own money, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, we'll wait and see whether that.
Oxford United.
Fuck off. No, to be honest, I don't understand why an American hasn't bought either Oxford United or Cambridge United. Because of, if they know nothing about England, they'll have heard of Oxford and Cambridge.
Yeah.
Because of their universities, even though none of their fan base, and I can speak, no offense to Cambridge United, but I can speak exclusively about Oxford United's fan base. None of them are university educated. I'm just doing that as a prediction based on their utter stupidity. I would say no offense to Oxford United, but every offense is meant.
Yeah, where's
Oxford United?
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it makes you think, don't you? Like, it makes you think why Ryan Reynolds and the other fella bought Wrexham. Like they were there the other day, weren't they? And it's like, how did they know where that was?
I know. They
like,
just
how they
pointed
hit
on a map.
Wrexham?
I mean, they are the oldest. I think they're the oldest football league club, aren't they? Or were the oldest. Sorry, no, they're not in the Football League, are they? They said they were like the fourth oldest club in the world, and I looked at it, and actually they're not the fourth oldest, they're the fifth oldest.
Yeah. The oldest club in the world is Sheffield FC, isn't it?
Sheffield FC, they're the oldest club, they're amateur. Yeah. Sheffield Hallam, I think, is the second oldest. Yeah. Notts County is somewhere there, and I can't remember who else it is. I would say 1860 Munich, but they didn't play football until 1890. But 1860 Munich.
Bit late there, lads.
But still the first team in Munich to win the Bundesliga. What was that, Bayern? Oh, you were the second. Oh, boo-hoo.
Why? What year did 1860 win it?
The first, I think 62, 61, and by that point, they only wanted one Munich team in the league, so 1860 got the invite and not Bayern. So in 1861, like the second or third Bundesliga season.
Mate, just remember, we're not. If me and you went back in time, we'd done this kind of show back then. We could say, oh yeah, we'll go and watch 1860 because they're the best team, yeah. But realistically now, the third Bundesliga, and Bayern rule Germany, so
There you go. If you want to know the oldest football teams, and I'm not counting, I don't count these ones because they're not professional teams. Well, I don't count count the ones that are university teams. So Sheffield FC, amateur team.
Yeah.
Cambridge University Football Club, 1856. Or 1856, 1857, so around the same time, around the similar time that Sheffield FC were founded. Because there were 3 rugby teams that are older than Sheffield FC.
Yeah, who's the oldest rugby
The oldest
club?
football team is Guy's Hospital in Blackheath in London, which is a university hospital, which is now called, plays rugby union. And then Durham School Football Club, which is a rugby club, also plays there. And Dublin University is the 3rd oldest football club in the world. 1854. So 1843, 1850, 1854, they all play rugby union. So the 3 oldest football clubs in the world all play rugby union. Yeah. But the oldest association football club is Sheffield FC, which was founded in 1875 on October 24th. Whereas Cambridge University's football club, which plays in the Bucks Midlands Division 2A, greatest fucking league in the world. Remember the Do you remember the Staffs Uni playing in the Bucks leagues? God, yeah, British University and colleges. That. So they were 1856, 1857. We're not counting the university team, so you've had Sheffield FC. I mean, 1816 unit technically, but they didn't play football until 1899, so they don't really count. But technically the oldest team in Germany. Cray Wanderers, London club, 1860, play in Bromley. Sheffield Hallam, 1860, play in Sheffield, or just Hallam FC. Then it's Crystal Palace. Jeez. So they're the oldest club in the Premier League, which was 1861. Then it's Notts County, 1862. So there you go. And then Stoke City are older than Wrexham, 1863. So Wrexham are the 7th oldest football club in the world. Association football. Actually, no, they're not. They're the 8th oldest because the Civil Service have a football club that was founded before Wrexham. So they're actually the 9th oldest football club, unless you count Cambridge University, in which case they're the 10th oldest football club. But you don't count Cambridge University.
So basically, Wrexham got bought out at random.
Yeah, they are the oldest football club in Wales. I'll give them that. Thank you once again to my guest, Callum Brown, for this week's edition of the Football Fan Show, our podcast. As I said at the beginning, it was recorded before Ollie at the Wheel was sacked, so next week expect conversations about who will replace him. Looks like Michael Carrick is going to be the interim boss until the end of the season at the moment, but they are apparently looking for an interim manager. They're probably going to give it to Michael Carrick. That's my prediction. We're back next week with another episode of the podcast. Don't forget you can watch it live if you like, and you can call in on twitch.tv/The Football Fan Show. So join us there if you would like to watch us live. I promise you, we're not hideous. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's podcast. Come follow us on Twitter, TFFS Live, our TikTok, at The Football Fan Show, also our Instagram, where you can watch football news headlines in 60 seconds or less. Don't forget YouTube as well. We've got a few videos coming out, one about the Hull City ownership saga, and we've got one on Forest Green Rovers to come. Yeah, they're my kind of neck of the woods. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. We will see you next week. Have a fabulous week.